Welcome to Adeptus On-Air, the show where we examine how individuals and companies make decisions that drive their business and personal success. Each week, we connect with notable professionals who pull back the curtain on the industries that Adeptus has been on the cutting edge of for the last 30 years, including music, sports, and entertainment, as well as new emerging markets.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Adeptus On-Air. I am your host, Mike Hoffman, and so excited today to be joined by Noé Socha. How you doing today?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Before we get into Noé's career and music, he has graciously offered to give us a sample of some of his skills. So I'm going to turn it over to you, and then we'll chat afterwards.
Cool. Got guitar, harmonica, and this is kind of funny. I'm gonna play a little piece of one of my songs that's gonna be on my upcoming album. But what's funny about it is I wrote it and I called it Walking Stick Blues because being blind, I use the cane to get around, but everybody calls it walking stick. So I thought it would be a good song name. So
Sounds good.
there you go.
Impressive. Very nice. Thank you for playing for us.
Thank you. Thank you.
So as some of you obviously know from what Noé just said, Noé is blind and just amazing talent there. I mean, I think about it. Back in the day, I played an instrument, back in high school, and to learn one instrument was difficult enough. Then now to learn, you play both extremely well, and at the same time to compose your own stuff is just a talent that is just utterly incomprehensible to me. So impressed with what you just did. So thank you for doing that for us.
Thank you.
So he has two different YouTube channels. One's called Simple Blues Boy, and the other one is called the Blind Selfie channel, which is kind of funny. And I kind of was researching you a little bit, and kind of heard the story about the name Blind Selfie. So why don't you just kind of tell us, how that came about?
Well, that was a few years ago. I was hanging out with this friend of mine, this keyboard player. He's really good, Devin Yesberger. He's out in New York too. But we were actually at one of our other friends' wedding, and he's like, "Man, you should start taking pictures and videos of yourself." That was probably 2015, I
Okay.
want to say. And I was like, I don't know, man. That sounds funny but silly at the same time. And then uh, that morning, we ran into this old car. I still remember it was like this light blue, like old car. I don't know what it was, but I posted on Facebook. If you see a picture and Instagram,
Mhm.
I think on Instagram too. If you see a picture, probably Facebook though. If you see a picture of me with an old car, that's what it was, and that's so I took that picture and it was kind of funny. People liked it, and I didn't do anything with it for about like 6 months, and then Halloween of 2016 came along, and I was like, man, I this would be funny. So like I wear a green hoodie and filmed myself playing Ghostbusters, and that video, especially on Facebook, went viral for the time. Like I didn't have that many followers or whatever.
Mhm.
It's like you put so much effort into stuff
Yeah.
and then you do something silly like that. You don't even see my hands. On that video, you just see my green hoodie and I'm
Uh,
playing Ghostbusters. So,
and then next thing you know, everyone's seeing it. So
yeah, everyone's seeing it. They're loving it. I'm like, wow, like, that kind of showed me, like, I know a lot of the times, we put a lot of effort into something and, it's cool, but sometimes something that's like immediate and kind of silly like that, it works even
yeah.
better sometimes. So I posted that, and then a couple of years later, I did another song, and then a couple of years later, another song, and then I had some issues. I had to be out of the country for 6 months, and I came back. And I came back, and I was in Staten Island. I hated living there because I'm like so far from everything. You need a car to get around and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just figured I would do something because I was out of the country for 6 months. I lost a lot of the work.
Hmm.
And so I was home a lot and I was like, let me do something. I started figuring out whose birthday is it today. And so the first one is Steve Miller Band,
Hmm.
because it was his birthday. And I did Rockin' You Babe. It's one of his songs. And I learned it that day and posted it on YouTube. And it's a crappy video because I think the phone had like a plastic cover protection and
Right.
that just made it look bad.
Sure.
And then that was like that for about 3 or 4 days until we figured out that you had to get rid of the thing from the screen. And, it was a
Yeah.
whole working process. But I did, because I started having fun. I literally did a video every day and learned a song every day for a whole year. Because once I got into a couple months in, I was like, well, I may as well challenge myself and go all
Yeah.
the way for 365 days. And some days I
So,
did double. So it was like 372 videos in 365 days. I didn't
uh,
miss not one. They're all there. They took one down. They took my some Eagles cover down, but I still have it. Um,
so
and
you're learning it just from listening to it. So you have the ability to listen to a song
I
and play it.
arrange it. Yes, I had to listen to it. Some of them I knew, some of them I didn't. Obviously, I
Yeah.
remember some of the hardest ones. One was like "Wayward Son." Come on, Wayward Son, the Kansas song. That song.
Yeah.
That was hard because that song is like 7 minute long and it has all these different sections. And first, because the harmonica is definitely limiting in certain ways, so like I had to figure out, can I actually play this on my instrument before I embark in the learning process.
Yeah.
So I listened to the song like, oh, I can do this, I cannot do that one. So I would select which one I could do, and a
Hmm.
lot of the times, because I was gigging a lot and stuff, I would get up, at 8 in the morning and start working on that. And the
Hmm.
video was usually, it depended on the day, but usually by mid-afternoon I was done. Um, and sometimes I remember I had to go on tour for like 5 days, so I had to cram like 6, 7 videos in like 2 days. And I remember that was like what was it? What did they do? Like Linda Ronstadt and Woody Guthrie and
Uh-huh.
the Birds and some other. I did what's Tom's Diner, the Susan Vega song, and they all had
Sure.
birthdays the same week, so I had to be like, well, I gotta, you know, bust my behind. and get
Yeah.
to work on it. But I didn't want to miss a day. You know, I was in July, and it's like, man, I'm almost done. I only have 3 months left because I started in October of
Yeah.
2018.
At that point, you're like, I got to finish the year.
Yeah. So I did it, and it was cool. And then I got featured on, somehow it got trending on Reddit, and so there was like a second of like your 15 seconds of fame,
Hmm.
and so I did that. I haven't done that in a while because I'm busier than what I was then,
Hmm.
and it's like once you finish a project, you're like, oh, but I still post once in a while. Like, if my last upload was like in maybe April,
Yeah.
I posted one of my songs. So like I'll because I have like 3,000-4,000 subscribers on that channel. So once in a while I'll do a
Sure.
video, and
And
now
what
I
are you
have
doing now that you're not doing that? Like, what are you working on right now?
I have a new record coming out, so I'm working towards that and gigging 6, 7 nights a week in New York. This week I have 7 gigs in 7 days. 3 weeks ago I had 13 gigs in seven
Wow.
days.
Now, are you at the same places, or is it different every week? Or are you like a
Some of it is the same. I host a jam session on Wednesdays in Brooklyn, and I play Terra Blues a lot. Arthur's Tavern, both these places are in the Village. I have a Governor's Island gig for anybody that wants to feel like they're not in New York when they're in New York. If you ever
yeah?
been to Governor's Island, it's like no cars allowed. It's kind of cool.
Wow.
I'm there on Sundays, and so some are consistent, some are not. Last week I was in Rochester for a week for some touring and stuff. So it just it's a bit of both. And I play with a lot of different people. I have a surf
Mhm.
rock band, which we have a record that came out last year, and I work with different singers. Sometimes I play solo, sometimes I play with a trio. I play, yeah, it's like a lot of different things going on.
And it's a combination of original stuff and covers.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I have originals, that I played regularly, probably 20 songs or so. But it covers, I don't know, I know a lot of different
So,
tunes.
what are your favorite covers that you play? Like, what are
Well,
your go-tos?
I can't really say what my favorite is, but I can definitely tell you that when I posted the cover of Slow Dancing in a Burning Room on TikTok, it was nice because John Mayer reposted it. And that's what really got me the level of
Wow.
following I have now, and endorsements with different guitar companies,
Uh huh.
D'Angelico, Breedlove, and Seidel for harmonicas. And that was really thanks to his TikTok repost, because people are like, oh, he's somebody now.
Right. No,
you
exactly.
know,
Hey, that's all it takes sometimes is someone giving you
it's
that shot.
I mean I'm the same person, like but it's cool. Obviously I'm grateful. I don't have a cynical view about it. It's more funny to me,
Listen,
you
I
know.
think a lot of people in the music industry, don't get me wrong, it's hard work, but everyone needs that break. And not everyone, a lot of people just need someone to give them a little push through. And if that's what he did, it doesn't limit your talent. Your talent obviously got you to the point that you played that got his notice.
Right. Right.
So that's kind of the payoff to it.
But it's interesting because you see a lot of people that that all of a sudden want to work with you, when
Yeah,
before it was like, oh, whatever, I sounded the same I sounded yesterday. But
right.
it's just a funny observation.
Yeah,
I don't hold grudges. I'm not upset about it. Like, it's just interesting to see, and that's just how the world works. And it's okay. What are you gonna
yeah.
do?
So going back to your childhood, what the only personal question I'm going to ask you: were you
Oh,
born blind?
no, it was like I was born like premature, so it's like the,
Okay.
the incubator oxygen levels back then.
Yes.
It was a big issue for a lot of kids. So
Yeah.
I would have been fine if it wasn't for that. But you know, it's I don't know any different.
Well, no,
I
exactly
was a
right.
month when that happened. So
Oh
it's
wow.
not that
Okay.
it's not that I would know.
So from obviously early childhood, you've dealt with this, and obviously you've made, you've done quite well with it. At what point did music become obviously one of the focal points of your life?
Well, music was always in there. I had a keyboard I would play around with, musical boxes. I had these. I would be able to tell you, like, I was like from like a plastic water bottle. If it fell, I could tell you which one it was. I was like one of those weird kids. The perfect pitch deal.
Yeah.
Um, so I was always a thing, but I didn't take it seriously until 12 years old. Like I was just, I don't know, I was playing, I was having fun, like as a kid,
Yeah.
And I mean, I still do, but you know what I mean? Like it was just part of life. Even though my parents were in photography, they just supported that,
That's
and
nice.
allowed me to have that because they saw that I guess I had some predisposition, so they
Yeah. Now,
allowed that, even
did
though
you have
they.
any formal training along the way, or was
Oh
everything you
yeah, yeah.
learned just from hard work?
No, I mean I took some classes for guitar mainly, not harmonica, but guitar. Some jazz and some fingerstyle and classical. That's why my right hand technique is so different, because I kind of studied a lot of different styles and combined it all together. If I had to explain you how to do it to you, I would be like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Because it's like I try to play according to the sound that I want. So like
Right.
sometimes I use like the back of my fingernail if I want to pretend like I'm playing with a pick, because I
Right.
don't play with a pick. I don't like the pick. I
Okay.
played it for a while. I don't like it, And then if I want more like a sweet sound, I'll play that way, or if I want more like of a sort of like that
Like a
kind of
hokey. Yeah.
tone,
Yeah.
And it just depends on the sound you want. And I just kind of learned all these different techniques and combine them together in a way that's definitely not orthodox. But
I
then
think
I
what's
went to.
amazing is, so especially going back to the birthday thing. So you're not only playing 365 different people's songs,
Yeah.
they're obviously all different genres and all different styles.
Yes. Oh
So
yeah.
to your point right there, you really have to diversify, because I'm guessing you did some country. You probably, obviously, we just heard you play some blues. You were probably playing some rock,
Oh yeah,
so
just some Nirvana, 3 Days Grace, like some indie rock bands of early 2000s, jazz, R&B, some reggae, just whatever, I was able to figure out.
and then then add on top of that skill the harmonica.
Yeah.
Now, do all of your covers include the harmonica too, or some just guitar?
Most of them, yeah. There's a few that don't, but it's probably like 10, because I felt like that was the best way to play a melody in a way that sounded like a melody.
Sure.
So like instead of figuring it out on guitar, like then on a guitar I could just like strum and do chords and then maybe do a solo and a harmonica solo. It's just yeah. So yeah, definitely the harmonica, most of them, because I feel like that would allow you to distinguish it better. Plus, I play
Which,
it, so why not? It's like.
no, no, absolutely. So which of the two was more challenging for you? Because obviously you're stellar on both. So which one was a harder one to master?
I mean, you can't say that you master it. You're always learning something. There's definitely a few
Sure.
things I don't know how to do on both. But I mean, the guitar has so much more vocabulary and language. The harmonica, I'm not saying it's easy, but like I never studied it as far as taking lessons. I just kind of figured it out. Um, but the guitar, there is so much vocabulary and things, and just such an advanced thing that that's definitely the one I spent the most time on. The harmonica has got 10 holes, and you can breathe in and breathe out. You can bend those notes and all that.
Yeah.
That's fine, but like you know, I'm not saying there's only so much you can do, because there's definitely some people like Howard Levy and Jason Ritchie that really have done a lot, and some stuff they can do I cannot do. But definitely the guitar is the one I spent more time on, for sure.
Well, it's interesting because if you go to a club or something, or just wherever, and you see a guitar player, and a lot of times, well, most of the time, they're not just playing guitar; they're singing. So you
Yeah.
have the guitar is basically just an accompaniment. So when I was
Not
listening to you
always,
before,
though.
not always,
Yeah.
but oftentimes. So when
Yeah.
I was listening to you do both, I was almost thinking about the harmonica was almost like the voice, and
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
yeah, which was
Uh,
nice. It was a great contrast because you went in and out. Where at some points the harmonica was the focal point, other times it was obviously all guitar.
yeah.
So it was a nice flow in that one, going back and forth.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I guess that's the point, in a way, and figuring out arrangements and I've done some newer song. I did a Taylor Swift cover on there, and
What song of
Bruno
Taylor's
Mars,
did you cover?
Trouble, Trouble. Like that was a hit maybe 10 years ago. So,
Yeah, it's
um,
great. So so
it's fun.
so so what's the plan in theory? I mean, if you could build the next 5 years professionally, obviously now you're working a lot of nights. You're coming up with an album.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, how would you like to see the career evolve over the next several years?
Well, like this is all great, but like I have to work all these gigs if I want to be able to pay rent and eat comfortably and do all that. I need to do all these gigs,
Hmm.
because they don't, like, the pay is good, but it's not great. Like
Sure.
100, 150, 200. The gig that pays the most is 330, and that's the Governor's Island gig.
Mhm.
And it's like I'm just saying these numbers to kind of show, like, it's not that you make that much money, even though
You're
you
right.
work hard. Like if you make $1,000 in a day, that's going to be a really, really good day.
Sure.
happens once a year,
Yeah.
maybe. So I just want to be able to do better gigs and better performances, go on tour would be nice. And the main thing is if I get visibility even more than what I do now, that I have now, I could give back to the community and help other musicians in New York. There's a lot of people that are struggling for sure. It's
Yeah.
not easy to make it work. And if I have the platform to showcase someone, like John Mayer did with me in a way, but I could actually collaborate with these people because I know a lot of great musicians and stuff like that. Then I could put somebody on the map, and that would be cool. Like, and also being able to do that not just here, but in other parts of the world where people may not even have the opportunities to be seen or get out of a situation that may not be the most comfortable or the most ideal where you could study and stuff like that. There are places where people just struggle to survive, but maybe they have music as some sort of outlet. You never
Sure.
know. I would love to explore that more and
Yeah.
be able to support and help out. I think somebody who does that is Bella Fleck in a way, because all his albums are with these different people from different places and he like adapts and plays their music. And, it's so cool. I love the way he does that musically. I don't know him personally, but like there's, he is the banjo player, Bella
Okay.
Fleck. Yeah.
I've heard the name. I can't picture right now, but I believe I've heard the name. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got an album with Victor Wooten out that came out, when I was at Berkeley, and that was like more of a jazz country fusion. And
Hmm.
he plays banjo, and then he's got stuff with like African percussionists and stuff like that. It just changes, and then he plays bluegrass, obviously, because he play banjo.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
That's
what
a
we play,
that's a predominant area for
but
banjos.
it's like seeing that it's cool because you just have a lot of different things, and it makes you become a better person and musician when you learn other people's music anyway.
Yeah. No
And there
doubt.
is so much out there. Obviously I love writing my own music. That's cool, but there's so much great music out there that it's like, do I need to write another 100 songs? Like, sure, I can write some, and that's cool. If they mean something to me, but I don't necessarily think, there's so much out there that other people are creating and doing, and being able to give that at a larger scale. And I think that would be cool. So it's more of an ideal thing. I mean, money wise, who knows, man? You don't know the music industry is changing. Artif- artificial intelligence is changing
Yeah.
things. You have a lot of people and things that are starting to actually have music created by artificial intelligence. That's is becoming a thing. So I don't know what's going to happen to people that actually play instruments.
Now,
We'll
when you
see.
write some of the music, 'cause obviously you're not writing lyrics, you're
No.
writing the music. Do
Yes.
you ever write something with the hope of getting someone to collaborate with lyrics to match your thing, or are you just really writing primarily just for the actual music?
I write for the music. I mean, how can I predict who's gonna do what? If you
Yeah.
like my song and want to put lyrics to it, go ahead. I'll be happy. I mean, I am working with a singer, and she writes lyrics, and I write the music for her. I've done that. You know,
Okay, good.
and I've done that a few times, and that's fun. I enjoy doing that. It's a cool process. Um,
Is
you
that
know,
process much different than just writing music on your own?
Well, a lot of the singers and musicians I work with, they come up with the melody and the way the form goes. That I think I would find it challenging to just have lyrics and come up with something because
Hmm.
I don't know. I can see a verse, but it's like it's just. I think that would be more challenging to come up with the melody as a
Yeah.
musician with lyrics there. I prefer the singer to come to me with something that sounds like something, and then I can adjust it and make the music and maybe change the phrasing and make it different. I could do
Hmm.
that, but it's a collaboration, and it's fun in different ways. Because it challenges myself to understand what the singer is feeling and thinking and putting into a way that makes sense in a song as far as the form and the chord changes and things like that, which definitely helps.
So the first song that you played for us, that you wrote, when you
Yeah.
sit down to write a song, are you kind of sitting down with a blank slate and let's see what I come up with, or do you already kind of have like a melody in mind or something like that when you're going to write it, or does it, you hear, a musician will wake up at 4 in the morning and they have a melody in their head? You know,
Well, yeah, it's a lot of it's in my head. And yeah, so I can definitely write. I primarily write in my head. I want to be able to hear it in, before I play it, because that allows you to not necessarily think about the limitations you have on your instrument,
sure.
or think more clearly. There's a song that I wrote that I wrote in my head that I released maybe like 6 years ago, and I wrote it on the plane as I was coming back from somewhere. I just sat there and like just thought about it and came up with the whole thing, and then got home and
But you wrote it when
played
you
it.
say you wrote it. You wrote it in your head because obviously you
Yeah,
weren't playing the instruments on the plane,
yeah, exactly. So
and
most
you
of it,
remembered it.
yeah, yeah. I just but if I'm in that situation, I just kind of had to like make sure that I would rerun it through my head, and as soon as I got home, I had to play it.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes like I'll come up with something and then, keep thinking about it so it's ingrained in there. And then later, maybe a few days later, be like, oh, what could I add to that? And then I just, think of it in my head if I'm not on the guitar, you know.
So when you have it in your head, this is what fascinates me. You have it in your head. How quickly? And let's just say you weren't on a plane. Let's just say you're sitting here, where you are now, and you have something in your head. Are you just having real uncanny ability to then just pick up your instrument and kind of get it out there, or do you have to kind of fuddle? No, that's not exactly what I wanted it to
No, no,
sound
no.
like.
I can do it because I think with the perfect pitch, I know what note sounds like what, you know. So uh so yes, I can play it immediately if it's in my head. You know what I mean? Like if I hear a melody, I don't know. Let's see, like I don't know. Like that could be
But if you're a
something.
melody, like if I don't worry, I'm not testing you. But
No,
if
I
I
know.
just no,
I just kind
no,
of
I'm saying like if I
demonstrating.
just said to you any song, if I picked any song and you know that song, you're able pretty much first try to get it pretty close to the song.
If I know it, yes. Oh yeah,
If you
definitely, absolutely, yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, absolutely. Um,
That's very
because
impressive.
if especially it depends on the tune. Like if you're asking to me about like some complicated jazz tune with a lot of stuff, then
Oh
no.
no, if I'm just
But
talking like just a regular ballad, like just say, like you mentioned Taylor Swift, like a Billy Joel song or a Taylor
yeah,
Swift song, if you know the song, you're able to kind of say, okay, I can play this for the most part.
oh definitely, yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Now,
I
is
can
Piano
definitely
Man
do
a
it.
song that you play a lot because it's
Oh
got both the?
God, yes. You know,
Cause I just figured because it's got both the harmonica,
yeah, yeah. Somebody asked me to play it. I kind of fake my way through it.
That sounded
But
like more than faking your way through it.
yeah.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
My favorite lick there is that piano part. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. And I
That's
could
that's
play it.
really.
I could play it on harmonica too.
Oh, I'm sure you could. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. So tell me about all the different social media platforms you're on, so people can kind of check you out.
So TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Uh, I used to be on Clubhouse, but I haven't been there forever. Simple Blues Boy is the username, and Facebook is Noé Socha, Noesocha, and the website is noemusic.net. And YouTube, obviously, Simple Blues Boy and Blind Selfie, as we were talking
Right, the two different
earlier.
channels there.
The two different
Absolutely.
channels. I don't post on there as much as Instagram because, as I said, I'm just running around doing stuff. But here and there you'll see me post a video on either one, and especially on the Simple Blues Boy one, you see a lot of stuff coming because of the new records. So I'll definitely post videos there because the Blind Selfie is just me, and I don't want to mix that up. Just me taking my own videos, and that's the whole point of that. So that's why they're separate.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming on talking. Really interesting stuff. I'm very impressed with your talents. It's amazing for someone forget the who isn't blind. It's amazing your talents, and then add that challenge on it, and it's even more impressive. I'm putting you on the spot. Can you play us out to something? Your choice.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'll play another one of my tunes. How's that?
Perfect. Sounds great.
Actually, let me play the one I wrote on the plane. How's that sound?
That would be great. Love it.
That's that. I released that in 2017. It's called Romance Among Thieves, because the story the story with that was basically I was flying back from Italy, and I missed a connection in London, and I had to pay for a whole other flight and all that. Anyway, I wrote it on that flight, and so I was every time I presented, I'm like, I hope I never have to play to write a song like that
Yeah.
again.
Well,
But
before you start playing, I just want to thank you again for coming on. Everyone, it's been a pleasure. Please follow on all the platforms he mentioned. Please follow us, click subscribe and all that good stuff. And until next time, take it away.
I'm sure I'm tuned here. All right.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Adeptus On-Air. If you like this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. If you have a question related to this episode or have a request for what you would like to hear, please email us at marketing@adeptuscpas.com. You can also find us at adeptuscpas.com online or follow us at Adeptus on social media. The views and opinions by the podcast speakers and guests are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of Adeptus. This podcast provides general information only and is not intended to constitute advice.